Hey, yo, what is going on? This is Ricardo of the Code 7 Podcast Network, and we are about to get started with Open Mic Live. But first, as always, a word from our sponsor.
At InDigital, we know that public safety professionals hold themselves to a high standard. In fact, standard doesn't do it justice. In over 25 years working alongside you, carrying millions of calls over our IP networks, your dedication has inspired us. That's why our ESINet goes beyond industry standards, not only i3 compliant, but designed to adapt to future development for a network you can count on when it matters most. Learn more at indigital.net.
Have you ever met a 911 professional and asked, what's the worst call you've ever taken? Well, here's your answer. I heard your last breath the night you flipped your four-wheeler. I tried to call you the day you committed suicide by driving your car into a tree. Blue face, cold to the touch. I helped you with CPR after you found your infant face down, not breathing. It messed me up. I did everything I could, but it wasn't enough. You were with me from the beginning, Grandma. 27 years later, I took the 911 call when you died. How fitting to be there for me in the beginning, and I was there for you in the end. I miss you, Grandma. I am 911. This is but a glimpse into the world of emergency dispatch. But what is it really like to answer a call during someone's nightmare? What is the impact on the first responder answering the call? From Titletown Publishing, and available on Amazon or where you purchase your favorite books and ebooks. Imagine listening. Your worst day is our everyday. If Within the Trenches has ever taught you something, open your eyes to what it is like to be a 911 dispatcher, or has inspired you to become one, then help support us and join our Patreon. Get exclusive bonus content, one-of-a-kind swag, discounts on merchandise, ad-free early access to new episodes, and much more. To join, please visit patreon.com/WTT podcast. And if you're an industry partner, we have something for you as well. And now, for the show.
This is Jordan, and you're listening to the Code 7 Podcast Network.
Warning. This episode contains the 3 A's of podcasting: adult content, adult language, and awesomeness. You've been warned.
Dispatch.
There is no one over here to cook our lunch. We are waiting for our lunch, and there's no one here to cook our lunch.
All right, calm down. Where are you at?
The group home. Now, what are you going to do?
We'll get some help over there for you, okay?
Welcome to Open Mic, where we visit the lighter side of dispatch, because laughing is good medicine. Hello, what is going on, everyone? And just adjust the microphone here just a little bit. Yeah. I know it's late. It's about 10:38 right now, or 22:38, and about an hour and 30 minutes after I usually go live. It's all right. We're here. We're here for anyone who is here to tune in. Welcome back. Welcome back to Open Mic Live. And oh, wait, we got somebody over here on Instagram saying hello all the way over from Australia. Love your podcast in Queensland. Yeah, what is going on? Hello. Welcome. Oh, this is awesome, man. Very cool. I am happy to be here with all of you. And usually I do this on a Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern time. And although it is Sunday, it is almost 11 o'clock. And I was doing all kinds of stuff all day today, which is why I'm late to the game here. We didn't do open mic last week because I was at the National NENA Conference. I am fresh back from the conference. Got a lot of stuff to talk to you about. And as always, how are you feeling? How are you doing? First, this live broadcast is sponsored by InDigital, a leader next-gen core services. And Shout out to patrons of the podcast, as well as those who send stars on Facebook. Thank you so very much. And for all of you who are currently here watching, listening, supporting, sharing, all of it, thank you very much. Throw in some reactions, but also, how are you feeling? Because it's Sunday. How are you feeling? On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being shitty, 10 being awesome, how are you doing? How are you feeling? Let me know. I'm coming in at like an 8, 8.5. Things have been awesome. But again, like I said, I'm fresh back from the National Nina Conference, and it is July 7th right now. And holy moly, everything's going by fast. I hope all of you had an excellent holiday. And if you're like me, you've been dealing with several days straight of fireworks. I mean, I get it. America. But holy hell, man. Like, trying to sleep. And I'm sure all of you who are watching and listening as well have been dealing with all kinds of bullshit calls. I remember being in dispatch during the 4th of July many times and taking calls from people. And when I was dispatching in Michigan, and I don't know about all of you, how it is right now. Oh, hold on. Feeling great, man. It's Monday over here, 12:41 p.m. What? You're watching from the future. That's awesome. Well, good. I'm glad that you're doing well. That is excellent. That is very cool. Um, I remember, and like I said, maybe a lot of you have this law or deal with the same shit, but when I was in dispatch and more towards the end of my career, there was a law that was implemented in Michigan where it had to do with noise complaints during like the 4th of July or any holidays. Okay. So the way they did it over there was the day before, the day of, and the day after, you could shoot fireworks all you want and all night if you wanted to. And if I remember correctly, even if, well, out in the country, of course, um, you could call in, the officers would simply do a drive-by. That's right. Simply do a drive-by unless you wanted contact. And that would be one of the things that they would say to us. Hey, Code for Cafe, what is going on? It's like, hey, Ricochet, what is going on, yo? That's what they would tell us to do. They would tell us, look, because of this new law, because of how this goes, we're not going out there. We'll do a drive-by eventually when we get a chance. We'll do a drive-by. However, if they want us to, I mean, you ask them if they want contact. Otherwise, it's just going to be a drive-by whenever we can. But if they wanted contact, the officer would go out there and actually talk to them. But of course, excuse me, everything that would end up being said was no, I don't want to talk to somebody. You don't need to send anybody out or anything. I just want them to go and have them stop. And we'd be like, there's a law now that says that can't be done. Like, no, we can't go out there. Like, it's not going to happen. But we'll come out and talk to you. We'll do a drive-by. But I think in some of the cities, like a noise ordinance, like they could do something about those. But either way, like you'd have to get contact for it. So then a lot of those callers would be pissed at us and just swearing us up and down and be like, I'm sorry, please. Like, like I have no idea. I'm not sure. Um, that's all we could do. And sometimes people would say, "All right, I get it. I get it." But others, it was it was not good. We'd have people swearing at us all the time. Let me see over here on Instagram. I've got a comment here that says, "Feeling meh. Previous Dallas, Texas dispatcher, fresh off promotion training from 911 call taker when." Oh, it's a dark day for DPD today. My apologies and thoughts and everything go out to you. Ugh. Seriously, thoughts out to everyone. And I guess if anything is needed as well, please let me know. If there's anything I can do, reach out. I saw on social media as I was making my way back to my house that there were some things that were going on. So, um, yeah, like I said, my apologies. Thoughts are out with all of you. Um, so with like I said with I was saying with the fireworks and everything, there's a lot of times that people just calling in and you're just like, I don't know what to tell you. This is the law here in Michigan, and there's not much else we can do. And like I said, I don't know if all of your states, all of you who are watching and listening, what your laws are like over there, but this was one of the ones that ended up getting implemented, and people were pissed. They were not happy, man. It was hell for us during those times. But you just stick it out. You do what you got to do. Also, episode 552 went out. Episode 553 is coming up. And actually, 553 went out today. My bad. I have that backwards. Or I'm behind one myself. 553 went out recently, and 554 is the one that's going to be coming out. Holy crap. I've got so many episodes that are coming out. I can't even keep them straight. So my apologies. Let's see. I'm just looking over my notes here. Again, I just got back from Michigan and I'll talk about that here a little more in just a moment. But just want to again look at my notes and everything. So as I said, I'm fresh back from National Nina, and if you were there and we got to talk, awesome. Like I saw, met, caught up with so many different people that my brain is like, there was just so many people. It was so fun. So to all of you that I saw there, thank you so very much. And let's see, Code for Cafe here says, and we get to do the whole fireworks thing all over again on New Year's Eve. You are correct. You are correct. Here where I live, in the addition where I live, they have been, it's been nonstop. And this year, we didn't go all out like we usually do with fireworks because of the fact that we can go for, I don't know, let's say an hour or so, and then we can set up out front and look all across the additions around us, and there's fireworks going off everywhere. So we had decided this time we're just going to take it easy and do some small ones. We're not going to get the mortars, and we'll watch everybody else's around us. And that was perfect. It was perfect. So it was really good. Again, I hope all of you had a good holiday. So some of you may or may not know this. If you were following my Instagram last week, I drove. Yay, my mom is on. Hey, Mom, how's it going? I drove down to Florida, and I know a lot of people are like, dude, what is wrong with you? Why didn't you fly? Now, normally I would fly. But this year, 2024, man, I have been driving almost everywhere, and it has been so much fun. It has been a lot of fun. So I have had an excellent time driving, and I had a good time driving to Florida this time as well. Now, I only stopped 3 times because when I get on the road, I don't know about all of you, but when I get on the road, I just want to get there. Unless, of course, there are things that are planned out, right? Seeing the biggest ball of twine or yarn or I don't know, whatever those weird attractions are in different states. Um, I I stop at those ones, but when it's just me, when I'm just going, I just go. So I stopped only 3 times, and here's the first 2 times were at Buc-ee's, for real. The first Buc-ee's was in Kentucky, the second one was in Georgia. The third time I stopped was to get gas, like, basically right at the Florida state line. That was it. Whatever food I got from Buc-ee's. I know, it probably sounds lame, like, "What, dude? Like, are you killing me or kidding me right now? Like, what the heck is that all about?" Um, so that is, um that's how I timed everything out. I was stopping at those Buc-ee's. It was a lot of fun. If you've never been to a Buc-ee's before, stop at one. It's basically like an amusement park. What I mean by that is not that there's a bunch of rides, the amount of people that are inside Buc-ee's, dude. Again, if you've never been to one, oh, get ready for an experience. They have excellent food, all types of like everything, and the gas stations are enormous. But the amount of people, that's what I mean by an amusement park. Code for Cafe says, I've never been to a Buc-ee's. That may be a road trip in and of itself. Yes, for sure. Get the brisket sandwich. It is amazing. I mean, every sandwich that they have there is amazing. But seriously, when you go to an amusement park and you're walking around and you're like this sometimes in some spots, that's what some of the Buc-ee's are like. Because there's so many people that are in there. It It gets like that. Like, when I went in there with my kids, I was holding them tight because they would easily get lost in the crowd. Like, that's how many people are in a freaking Buc-ee's, man. It is crazy, but I love them. I love them. Let's see over here, my homie Mike Aurora, that is, Aurora Design. He says, Buc-ee's is the bomb. We have several in our area. He says, you got to hit it up early in the morning or late at night. I can see that. Yeah, I can see that. It's just like going to grocery stores. You don't want to go on a Saturday, dude, because it's crazy, especially if you're going to Costco. Not on a Saturday, not on a Saturday morning or even all day Saturday because it is super packed. The line to check out is all the way in the back. You got people all pissed off, like, just want to get through. My mom is over here commenting on the Facebook side saying, must visit for sure. Yeah, no, definitely a must visit. Um, Mike over here on Instagram says, you can just camp at the jerky counter and get samples for days. Yeah, dude. But also, Don't get me wrong, I love that jerky. At that counter, love it. But $30 a pound, yo? Oh my god. Like, it is super expensive. Crazy expensive. What? Yeah. Negative. I say negative, but I buy it anyway. Because I love beef jerky. I do. So I stopped at those Buc-ee's on my way to Florida. And I get over there. By the time I get there, because twice I was in bumper to bumper traffic and it sucked. But luckily, I didn't have to use the bathroom or anything, so I was good to go. Otherwise, that would have been way worse. That would have been not fun. But when I finally got to my sister's house in Florida, it was about 3:30. No, it was a quarter to 4 in the morning. And I had left Indiana around 8 in the morning, I think is what it was. And like I said, man, I drove straight through. Excuse me, straight through. And I had fun. But towards the end there, those last couple hours, I was dying. Like, I was doing my best to stay awake. Like, I'm driving like this, bouncing up and down, singing all kinds of songs so that I could stay awake and get there. And I get, oh, wait, Code for Cafe says it gets too peoply. Yeah, it does. It definitely does. Um, I get over there, and my brother-in-law is already standing outside on the porch. I'm like, "Oh, yeah, you're awake." And he's like, "Yeah, man, I've been awake. I was just waiting for you." So we were talking outside for a little bit, then we go inside, and uh so I have younger twin sisters, okay? And my other sister was actually staying the night there um with our sister and her husband. So my sister Crystal comes out, and I was like, "Dude, what are you doing awake?" She's like, "I just went to use the bathroom." And I was like, "Oh, well, I'm here." So I gave her a hug and stuff. And then my sister Devon, her husband Chris, woke her up. And because at first he goes, "Do you want me to wake up Devon?" And I went to say no, just let her sleep. And he goes, "I'm gonna go wake her up." She was already getting up anyway because she heard me. So he ends up going to crash out. I mean, he's there talking with us for a little while, but then he ends up going to crash out. And then my sisters and I are the only ones awake, sitting at the dinner table that early in the morning, and I had already been awake for hours. And I think when we finally went to crash out, it was almost 6 in the morning. So I got there at a quarter to 4, and we were up talking and laughing and just being nutballs until about just about 6 in the morning. And I went upstairs and went to sleep, and I slept for a while. I mean, it was, I don't know, it was only like 4 hours, maybe 4.5 hours, but either way, I slept enough, and I got up because I don't know about all of you, but and especially when I was in dispatch and I worked midnight shift, I wouldn't sleep a solid 8 hours. I wouldn't even sleep a solid 6 hours. It was usually 4.5 to 5 hours, and I was ready to go. But it was also because, again, I don't know how all of you feel about it, but it was also because I felt like I was missing the day, and I didn't wanna miss the day. I didn't wanna miss anything. So I would wake up after about 4.5, 5 hours of sleep, and I would, hang out with the family or whatever. So that was basically the same thing that happened when I was at my sister's. I didn't wanna miss anything, and I wanted to hang out with them and stuff. So, uh we ended up hanging out the whole time. So it was a lot of fun. And it just went on. We were doing a bunch of different things, hanging out, doing stuff, but then it was time to go to the conference. But before that, my sister Devon, who was on vacation at the time, sister Crystal was at work. Her and I went down to Frostproof. Okay. We actually went and met our sister Crystal for lunch. And once we were done there, we went to the city of Frostproof, where my 911 dispatching career began. Because you may or may not know this, but each time I go to Florida, and it could be just like this, where I'm back from the NINA conference that was in Florida, and in about 3 weeks, I'll be back to Florida because the National APCO conference will be there. I will still, even with that little bit amount of time, I will go back to Frostproof and I will visit where everything started. I will stand on that plot of land and just reflect on my entire story. Because I don't ever want to forget where I started, where everything began, where everything I do. And at that time, if someone would have told me back then, hey, you're going to be in public safety for a while, not just that, you're going to start this movement. You are going to be sharing stories. Like if someone told me back then all of the stuff that I do now for a living, I would have been like, nah. Like, really? But here I am. And I love it. That's why also I love doing what I do. And so I went back over there and I was telling my sister Devon um a bunch of stories about when I was at Frostproof PD when I first started dispatching, man. And I know a lot of you probably have, of course, everyone has their own stories of when they first started out. And working there was so much fun. There was so much that I learned. And, one of the things I've mentioned it a few times, but one of the things that I remember as well is that when I was in dispatch and I was on my midnight shift, during this time, the PlayStation 2 had basically just come out. And one of the big games during that time when I first started dispatching that was out there that was really popular was Grand Theft Auto 3. One of the coolest games, and still a game that I will go back to and play over and over and over. And it was a lot of fun, man. And I played all kinds of different games or whatever. The reason I bring it up is because I remember jokingly saying to my chief, because we had this little TV there, and I mean, it had a few channels, but it wasn't like, it had a few channels. So I remember asking him if I could bring in like my DVD player or my VHS. How many of you that are watching and listening to this right now even know what a VHS is? Seriously. Do you know what a VHS is? Videotapes? Right. Well, it started out as a VHS that I brought in to have movies on because this was a small PD. There wasn't a lot going on. And I need to stay awake. So that was one of the things was brought in that VHS. Well, then I got a DVD player, hooked that to the TV. And it was good and all, but still like, working midnight shift, as you all know, it's you still get a little tired and you got to stay awake. And I would be pounding coffee or, sodas or something just to stay awake. And one morning when I was on the morning shift, I ended up, oh, Davine. Hey, Davine, what's going on? Devine says, hello, VHS, maybe. I also have a Betamax, if that tells you anything. A Betamax. Brought to you in part by Sony. So I was on a day shift, okay? Happy 4th to you as well. I was on day shift because I'm sure you've heard before, but I'll just say it again. When I was working at this dispatch center, well, it's a small police department. When I was working at the PD, um, we had 8-hour shifts, but they changed every 2 weeks, okay? 6A to 2P, 2P to 10P, and 10P to 6A. And when you were on that midnight shift, you were on that midnight shift for about a month, okay? So, and then when you were done with that, you go straight to that day shift, which was always hard to switch that up. So, um, I remember being on the day shift part, and I was talking to the chief and just kind of joking around. Jokingly, I said to him, it'd be cool if I could bring in my PlayStation 2 and just play, a couple video games here and there to stay awake. And he goes, uh, Ricardo, if that's what you need, like if that's what's going to help you to stay awake, then yeah, go for it. I want to make sure that you're awake. I also want to make sure calls are being answered, that our officers are safe. And I was like, okay. Yeah, no. I get it. They will be, no worries. And I was okay. I was okay to do it. Oh, wait a minute. Code for Cafe says, oh my God, you cannot be that old. Wait, for which part? For the VHS or the Betamax that I mentioned? Which, or because I said PlayStation 2? Which which one are you referring to? Code for Cafe, as you're saying, "Oh my God, you cannot be that old?" I'm curious now, like which part? I'll continue, but I wanna see what you say. So, the chief was like, "Yeah, of course. Yeah, no, do it." And I was beyond happy because never would have thought the chief would have been like, "Yeah, dude, go for it. Go for it." So I did. I mean, I had to wait like a month until I got to that midnight shift, but when I did, oh man, when I did, it was a lot of fun because again, Grand Theft Auto 3 had just come out. So Devine says, "I'm stunned. Wow." At the fact that I got to play video games in there, me too. I was stunned as well. So, oh, Code for Cafe says the Betamax thing. Yeah, okay. So I was born in 1981. I'm 43 years old. And I remember growing up, my parents had a Betamax. Now, not just that, they also had the Betamax video camera. And if you don't know what that is, look it up because in order to record, this wasn't this camera actually sat on your shoulder and you held it like this, okay? There wasn't a spot on the side of the camera to put a tape in. So the Betamax is two devices. One sits right on top of the other. The top piece was where the tape went in. So here's the thing: that top piece, you would have to hook a strap on it, and you would carry it on your side. And that thing was like that big, man. You would strap it, carry it on the side. It would hook in a wire from that device to the actual camera, and you would have to walk around with that whole thing. Yes, I'm that old. Like I said, I'm 43. I was born in 81, and my parents had a Betamax, and that Betamax camera and just, like, all of it, and we recorded everything on there. I have a Betamax right now. Right in back of this screen, I have a Betamax because a lot of our old, uh, like, home movies are on Betamax tapes. Code for Cafe says, "You're still a youngin'." No, that's true. Yeah, no. But I do remember Betamax, and I have one. Oh, shit, that's funny. I forgot what I was saying. Oh, the video game system. So, when I ended up hopping on, when I got back to midnight shift, I remember walking in with my PlayStation 2, Grand Theft Auto 3, and Street Fighter. And I hooked everything up, and I sat there waiting for something to happen, so I'm, like, running missions on Grand Theft Auto, or I'm playing Street Fighter and working at the same time. And, of course, when a call came in or somebody called on the radio, it was like, "Mute, controller down, 104, this is Frostproof, go ahead." And yeah, that was it. Because, like I said, there wasn't a lot going on, but I did get the opportunity. I got the chance to be able to bring my PlayStation 2 in and play games, and, there was there was one time one of the officers came in, and he came in to get some coffee, and he's like, "Bro, what are you doing?" I was like, "I'm playing Grand Theft Auto 3." And I remember he stood there watching me play for a little bit, and he's like, "I gotta get out of here." He's like, "I gotta get back on the road because I'm gonna wanna play too." And I was like, "Yep, and you can't play. Get out of my PD." But it was so cool, man. It was so fun that I got the chance to do that. That was one of the things that was cool that I got to do, and I got to do ride-alongs like a lot of you, right? Get to do ride-alongs. I didn't know a lot of people in town at the time, and I was fully into dispatch, everything public safety. So, one of the officers that I worked with, she was the coolest, and we're still good friends and everything. And I would get out of dispatch, I would end my shift, and she would go, "Hey, what are you doing tonight?" I'm like, "Probably just going to be sitting around, staying awake because I'm wired." And she would go, "Do you want to ride along for a little while?" I'm like, "Hell yeah!" So we would go all over the city, which the city's not that big, but um, we would also be stationary, just clocking. And sometimes, the cars when they were passing by, we would have a competition. We would guess to see how fast a car was going. And of course, if they're breaking the law, we'd go and pull them over and stuff. But it was so cool to be able to be there with her or any of the other officers and just kind of see what it's like on their side. It was a lot of fun. And one story I can tell you, this is a story that, as I was saying, I was there at the PD where it once was, and my sister was there with me, and I was telling her a bunch of stories. And one of the stories I'm about to tell you right now, I have shared this before, but for those who haven't heard it, I want to share it now. So, one of the nights that we were together, we're sitting there and we are clocking vehicles that are going by, and we're like, well, they're like one over, whatever. You know, the, they keep going. We're waiting for someone who's like well over five or whatever. Excuse me. And we're waiting, and we hear a call. Call comes out over the radio because just down the road from where we were at was a dance hall. And every weekend there would be different bands there playing like Mexican music and stuff. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll just simply say the beat and everything, like cumbias, it would be doom 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 doom. So they were always having dances every weekend, and I never went to them, but I knew a lot of people that did go to them. So, and plus I was working a lot in dispatch, so I didn't get a lot of time to do a lot of stuff. So we hear it go out that at this dance hall, there's a fight that is going on, kind of a big fight that is going on. And so we're like, "Oh, snap," like lighting sirens, like, "Let's go." Woo! Just spin it, and we start hauling ass, which again, really, it was like, "Run!" Because we weren't far from where this was happening. So we end up getting there. Now let me set the stage as because we get there pretty fast, okay, as I said. So you got this little dance hall. Almost all the people that were in there had already come out because they knew the police had been called. Plus, because there was a crazy fight going on, people don't want to be a part of it, so they were leaving already. So when we pull up, there is a security guard holding onto the arm. Well, I guess it would be my left arm because they were walking like, like this. And the guy is just going, "Oh, oh," and you can see that he's all drunk too because he's all like Stumbleina and stuff. And but he's pulling away from the security guard, and I'm like, "Oh, snaps. Like this is not gonna be like an easy peasy, pulling whoever into the car and taking him in for assault or whatever. I don't know." So you've got the security guard and that guy walking, right? Out of the dance hall and walking like kind of in front of where we are at. And because we're pulling in. This is all happening as we're pulling in. And then there's another guy who's walking out behind those two. And this guy, I feel as though he was involved, but he wasn't combative like the other dude. He's just walking, minding his own business, okay? And another security guard runs out of the dance hall. You've got the two guys up here, the one guy who's not doing anything. Security guard comes and goes right in the middle of those three, gets in front of the guy who's not doing anything. And he pulls out his pepper spray and just starts spraying the shit out of this guy's face. Okay? Just all in his face. Now, I feel bad for the guy. I felt bad. But then I started laughing. And I started laughing hard. The reason for that is because as soon as the pepper spray hit that guy's eyeballs, he starts yelling and screaming in Spanish, "Ay Dios, por qué Dios, por qué Dios?" Which in English is, "Oh, why God? Why? Why God? Why?" I shouldn't laugh, and I'm sorry if you think I'm an asshole, but that's funny shit. What made it even more funny, though, a little bit, is because, like I said, all of this is happening as we are rolling in to the parking lot, and I'm hearing this and seeing it, and I'm laughing so hard. And the officer I was with, she goes, "What just happened? Why are you laughing?" And then I told her, and she's like, "Well, I can't." Like, she's like, "Damn it, Ricardo." She's like, "I have to go out there and deal with that." Now, it wasn't just her. There was a bunch of backup coming because people knew. People knew about that dance hall and how crazy some of those get sometimes with people that are going in there and fights because everyone's drinking, and sometimes that shit gets out of hand. So there was enough people there to assist with everything, but that is one of the ride-alongs that I will never forget. And I'm sure a lot of you watching this have some of those ride-alongs as well that you will never forget. And that is one of them for me because who would say that? Like, why? That doesn't just happen, you know? It's like usually if someone is getting sprayed in the face or something is happening, they're just like, "Oh, shit," like, and a lot of swearing. It's not someone yelling, "Dios, por qué, Dios, por qué?" Like, that that is some, like, crazy sitcom Simpsons type shit, like, for real. Like, the dude yelling, "Why, God? Why? Why, God?" Oh, that's so bad, man. It is so bad, but that's what he was yelling, and I just remember sitting there just, like, chuckling to myself like, "Wow, this is my life." Like like, this is seriously my life, and I'm sure a lot of you, again, whether it be 911 phone calls that you've taken, different situations in dispatch, or just things in life in general, and you have to sit back and have one of those moments and just ask, "Is this my life? Like, this is my life. Like, what? What?" Oh, man. So that was that was one of the stories that I shared with my sister, because that's what I remember. I like I said, I remember a lot of different things from when I first started out in Frostproof, but that one will always be a funny one to me, and, it was pretty cool. But I love you, Florida, for many reasons. I love you. I love you the most amount. Florida's always been awesome. And when I first started out in dispatch, there's a lot a lot of cool things that happened. Maybe one day I'll tell you a lot more, but that's one of the ones that I just wanted to share with you right now. So I ended up going to the National NINA conference. I was out there, and I've got some articles and videos that I'm going to be posting and pictures and everything else because I was there kind of doing like some press stuff. So it was a lot of fun, man. Again, everyone who was out there, um, it was really cool to see all of you and meet so many new people as well. I always love catching up with everyone. But when I meet new people, thank you. And thank you for coming up to say hello. I remember there were a few people who finally got up the nerve, in a way to come and say hello. And they said, "I didn't know if it was cool to come and say hello to you." I'm like, "Why?" And or why not? And they would say, "Well, I mean, you're kind of like a 911 celebrity a little bit." I'm like, "Nope, I'm just a normal fucking dude. I love what I do. I love what all of you do, and I am here to in any way give back. Like I'm just a regular dude." And I remember this person specifically was like, "Yeah, you are pretty down to earth. Like you're the same." And I was like, "Dork that you see online?" And they're like, "Well, I wasn't gonna put it that way, but yeah." And I was like, "Yeah, man, I'm just a regular person, so come and say hello, man." I love meeting new people and saying hello and just getting to know people, man. I love it. So, damn it, if you see me, say hello. I will say hello back. We are all on the same level. I'm not anywhere above anybody. We are on the same level. We are very cool, and, I just had so much fun with all of you out there. You know, even folks that were out there that, didn't talk to me, it's okay. It's okay. I'm proud of you and everything you all are doing. So it was a lot of fun being out there, and I'm looking forward to the next one. Now, while I was out there, I did. Oh wait, Devine says, "Will that be your next T-shirt?" Nope, I'm just a normal effing guy. I should, I should put that up there and just that'll be my pose. Like, nope. I mean, this is my heroes one, right? This is my, geez, because of the cameras backwards. This part right here. This is the thin gold line version of the heroes shirt. Um, all I was saying was I could have it right there, right across the chest. It says, "Nope, I'm just a normal effing guy," because I am. I'm just a regular dude, man. I just love what I do, and I'm the one who's more starstruck in a sense of all of you because you're in there within the trenches of 911 kicking ass and taking names. Everything I do is for all of you. You're my why. I say it all the time and I will continue to say it. You are all my why. And I love what I do. And I just thank you for the honor and privilege to be a small part of your 911 journey. So thank you. I love doing this. Code for cafe. He says he needs to do por qué, Dios, por qué. Dude, I should do a shirt like that with the silhouette of a person going like this. I'm gonna work on it, man. I am gonna work on it now, and I will. It'll just be like a special edition one-off that it'll just be there for like a month or something. And if you get one, you get one. Oh, that would be hilarious, man. Seriously, that would be hilarious. So, I was out there, right? And I taught, um no, I'm serious. I want to. I definitely want to. I taught 2 classes out there. So, I ended up getting a call from, a good friend of mine at Nina, and they're like, "Hey, so like a spot just opened up, do you think you can help us out?" And I was like, "Hell yeah, I can help you out." And, one of the sessions I did, of course, was my Imagine Listening session, and the other session that I did was, recruitment through the power of storytelling. And it was a 3-room, okay? And, it was standing room only. It was packed in there, man, and it was such a good class. It was such a good time. That recruitment class, there's a lot of different techniques in there, okay, about how to help you all to recruit 911 professionals. But also the class is all about all of you feeling more comfortable talking about what it is that you do, but more importantly, why you do it. Because every single one of you is a recruiter. And that's what my class is all about. Recruitment through the power of storytelling. That's what that is. And I love doing that class. It was only an hour long, right? However, it's a 2-hour segment that's part of my 8-hour communications course. So if you were in that session and you really dug it and you want to bring me in, I'm all about it. Let me know, because I did speak to a few people there in Florida, and it is possible that we're going to start working on some things to bring the class to the state of Florida. And I am super excited for it. So make sure to watch out for more of that. The Imagine Listening session was outstanding. I recorded both of those and very powerful stories. This, I believe, was the first, maybe the second Imagine Listening session where no one wrote down a story. It was all said out loud. Seriously, they were all out loud. And again, a lot of powerful stories, a lot of emotions, a few people crying and everything. And it was good. It was good to have everyone in there sharing their stories. People like saying, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry." I'm like, "No, take your time." And other people, all their audience members saying the same thing. We're here for you. Because that's what Imagine Listening is. Imagine Listening is a peer support session. So that one went very, very well. It was a good time. And just thank you, all of you, for being there in the session and sharing stories. And even if you didn't share a story, again, it's okay because you were there in support of each other. And that is what it is all about. And also everyone who was at the recruitment class as well. I had so much fun with all of you. Damn it. It was so much fun. And I am so glad that I get to teach and do all of this and do what I love because it is hella fun. And I just love being there with all of you, man. That both classes very engaging, and those are the classes that I love when it's engaging. Because otherwise, then it's just boring. It's not only boring for you, but it's boring for me too. And I'm just like, let's play Jenga. No, it's never like that. I was just talking shit. But I love doing a class that's engaging, just like anybody yells something out and then someone says something and you build upon that and then you give more information and then people talk and give their information even more so and we're all learning from each other. Those are the types of classes I love to attend, but more so that I love to teach. So, we had a good time there, and again, I was walking around the vendor hall and doing spot interviews and doing a few things. You'll see a lot more of that coming up today. Earlier today, I drove to Michigan and dropped off my mom and my aunt, my mom's sister, and but before the and my son Logan came with me, and we ended up like going on a little tour and we were visiting a bunch of different places. We visited my grandmother, my mom's mom, and at the cemetery to pay our respects and everything, and the rest of the family members we have there. And when we took off, we were sharing stories, and I want to share just a few stories um, before I wrap up this broadcast, which again, it has been a lot of fun being here with you. And it's always a good time. I'm looking over here on Instagram to see if there's any comments, and it looks like my homie Karen just popped in there. What up, girl? So, um, these two stories, both involving my grandmother. It was just, I was telling Logan about some of the things that happened with my grandmother when I was growing up. So we were passing by the city of Kalamazoo in Michigan, Southwest Michigan. And I was telling my mom, well, and everybody that was in there, but it was mainly for Logan because I was telling him these stories, right? Going down memory lane, and there's Karen. Hey, what's up? Um, I was saying, at this exit just down the road, there was a Wendy's, and I remember as a little kid. And these are some of these memories I probably shouldn't remember because they were so long ago, and I was seriously like 4 or 5. Like I was small. Um, or maybe 5 or 6. Either way, I was a little kid, and not a lot of people remember stuff from back then. But I remember almost everything with my grandmother. And I remember we were there, and my grandmother had gotten some coffee, okay? And it was straight up coffee, not decaf. It was straight up coffee. And she would sometimes get like the little creamers and she would put them in her in her purse or whatever and snag them. And I remember I was watching her as she was putting, sugar and creamer in her coffee, and my mom got up to go use the bathroom, and I remember her turning around and saying to my grandmother in Spanish, but she was saying, "You better not give Richie any of that coffee." And my grandma was like, "No, no, no, no voy a hacer eso." Like, "No, no, I'm not gonna do that." And my mom turns around to continue going to the bathroom, and right away, my granny's like, "Mijo, vente pa acá, mira, mira, mira." She's like, come here, look, look, look." And I remember going around and she gave me a little bit of coffee, and I'm like swigging on it, and then you could hear like the door from the because we weren't far from where the bathrooms were, and you could hear the door open up, and she's like, and I remember sitting down really fast, and I remember my grandma telling me to just chill, like be calm, like be straight faced. And looking over here on Instagram, Karen says, "Oh my god, I always had coffee with my grandma. Favorite memories." Yeah. So you know what I mean? Yeah. So I'm sitting there and I remember just trying to stay cool. The funny thing though is that my grandma loved to laugh, okay? And she loved it so much. Like when something like that would happen, she could not hide it. So my mom comes back and my grandma is trying not to laugh. And I'm just sitting there with the caffeine and the sugar already going through my veins. And I'm like, and my grandma just starts busting up laughing, just straight up laughing. And my mom's just standing there staring at her. And basically was like, "You did it anyway, huh? You gave him some." And she's like, "No, no va a ser nada. Todo va a estar bien." Like, "No, nothing is gonna happen. He's gonna be fine. Everything's gonna be fine." My ass was bouncing off the walls. Oh, it was the funniest shit, man. And my mom just being like, "I told you, man. Like, no, don't give him anything. And you did it anyway." She wasn't mad about it or anything. She's just kind of annoyed, right? But it was hilarious. Like, that's what my grandma would do. And sometimes, like, if we were in the car and we're like, "Ah, we're thirsty," or whatever, she would and of course, it was like she would take those little creamer cups home and she would put them in the fridge. So it wasn't like it was all curdling and stuff in her purse, but she would bring them just in case, we were somewhere and got a coffee to go or whatever. She would have the extra creamer. And if we were riding somewhere and we're like, "We're thirsty," she would like hook us up with a little with one of those little thimbles, those little cups of the creamer, and she would just be like, "Drink that." And my mom would be like, "No, mom." But she was like, "They're thirsty." Oh man. And I think sometimes she would probably do it just to see what my mom's reaction would be, which made it even more hilarious. And oh, Karen says, "Toma, toma." Like it's like, drink it. Like excuse me. Another time. So my grandma, when she started getting even older, and I'm sure a lot of people, like a lot of you with your grandparents, my mom's over here in the comments. a lot of a lot of your grandparents, parents, whatever. When you get older, you can't have a lot of salt because you swell up. Okay. And my grandmother was no different. So she would take It was probably about like this big, okay? Probably about this big. And it was a Morton's salt shaker. Again, about that big. It was super small. She would fill that thing with salt and she would have it in her dresser drawer. Like she would hide it. Or if we were at a restaurant, like as soon as my parents turned around or they got up to like maybe go get napkins or straws or something, wherever we were at, she would quickly open up her purse and we're like, is Granny giving us candy or something? No, she was getting her little salt shaker out and she would pop the top and she would put it on her food. And then we would be looking at her like, and she would go and start laughing, but she'd be like, be quiet. And then we would just be sitting there like, how is this going to go down? And then mom would come back and she'd be like, what happened? Get away. Get away. What happened? And we'd be like, nothing. Because we knew better. We knew not to rat out our granny. I mean, it probably didn't help her, right? Because like I said, she wasn't supposed to be eating the salt or that much salt. And it was just the funniest thing, man, because she would just be like, shh, don't say nothing. And we're like, okay. But again, she could never hide it, like in her face. So she would be laughing, and my mom would always be like, "What? What happened? What is going on?" It would just be like, "Nothing. We're fine. Nothing. Nothing's going on." Oh man. Well, to wrap this up and everything, again, I've had a lot of fun with all of you, and I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up because it's going to be midnight in a little while. But thank you, all of you, for joining me tonight. This has been a lot of fun. Again, as always, even if we're not sharing straight up 911 or public safety stories, and I'm sharing personal stories with you, I love to do it because just like over here on Instagram, my homie Karen, she can relate to the story as well with my grandma and coffee and all that other stuff. And maybe a lot of you, when I'm sharing a lot of these personal stories, you have similar ones. And it's happened. There's been a lot of times where I've been sharing personal stories, and a lot of you know exactly what it is that I'm talking about. Over here on Instagram, my homie out of Queensland says, thank you so much, man. You really made my day. Thank you, man. You made my day. You watching in the future over there in Australia. Love it. Thank you so much for being here. This has been an excellent time as always. And I just want to mention these last couple things. If you are going to the National APCO conference, I will be there, and it'll be the first time in 5 years. Well, maybe more like 4. I don't know. It's been a while. I think it's 5 years. It's been 5, yeah, it'll be the first time in 5 years that I have done Imagine Listening at the National APCO conference. And it's gonna be awesome because in 2016, August of 2016, August 24th of 2016, I launched the I Am 911 movement. And it has been going ever since then. And 2019, well, actually, so it was a week after the national conference in Orlando, the National APCO conference in Orlando. Okay. And this coming in about 3 weeks or so, this coming APCO conference is going to be in uh in Orlando. It's going back to Orlando. APCO conference, Orlando, and I'm going to be doing Imagine Listening there, doing I Am 911 stories. and August 4th of 2024, as long as everything goes well, will be the launch of book 2 of Imagine Listening. Now, I do have an announcement that's coming out pretty soon, within the next few days, about book 2, and it is a big one. So stay tuned for that, because you're going to want to know, especially what is going on with that book. There's a lot of stuff that's been going on with book number 2. Some of you know, some of you don't, but you will, and I will be talking about that soon. But this is going to be a full circle moment, man. And also, again, the last time I did Imagine Listening at a National APCO conference was when it was in Baltimore. I had the main session, I was given an encore, and because it went so well, they asked me shortly after the encore if I could do it again, a third time within that week. And I remember saying to them, I don't know if people are going to show up. I mean, this is the third time, but if you think that people will go, I will definitely do it. And it was standing room only for that third one. And it's been 5 years since I've done it. But we're going to do it again in Orlando. We're going to do it twice on the same day, one time in the morning, one time in the afternoon. And I cannot wait to see all of you there at the National APCO Conference in Orlando, Florida. And again, big announcement coming out soon for book number 2. And I'm excited for book 2 and everything that's going to come with it. Even though there's been some bullshit going on, we will discuss that soon. So thank you, all of you, for being here with me today and just hanging out and everything else. And I just want to say one more time, especially because someone had mentioned it earlier when we first started, and it was 8 years ago, 7/7/2016, when there was a major loss, a big loss out at Dallas PD. And I know those stuff like that, it it doesn't get easier, and you don't forget. And just like the person said over on Instagram, it's a dark day for them over there. So all of you, just keep everyone at Dallas PD in your thoughts and your hearts, and send them some good vibes and love. And for everyone there, stay moment of silence. Thank you for that moment. And again, just a shout out to everyone out of Dallas PD. Again, 7/7/2016 tragedy fell upon them, and a big one looking at everything here. And I just wanted to take that moment to just give you all of my love and my thoughts and prayers and everything. Because again, with something especially like that, um, it's always there. And I'm sure whenever this day comes up, it is really hard over there. Again, like the person said, it's a dark day for all of them. So keep everyone in your thoughts. And like I said, this specifically happened today, but back in 2016. But it doesn't get easier. And eventually, a lot of things, but those moments will always be there, and people don't forget, especially with these public safety heroes as well. So again, shout out to Dallas PD. We're all thinking about you. And if you need anything ever, reach out. So once again, thank you, all of you, for being here with me tonight. And I appreciate you more than you know. So many things going on, and I will be updating you on all of it within the next few days. because things are going to go fast. They are going to go fast. And again, I'll have everything for you shortly in the next couple days. But thank you again for joining me. I hope your numbers are way up there now. I was at, what did I say, an 8? I think I said 8.5 coming in. I am way above a 10 now. I hope your numbers are up there as well. And even if the numbers stayed the same, that's okay. We're all here in support of each other. And that's what Open Mic Live is all about. We forget about the bullshit going on in the world for about an hour just for us to talk, have fun, and just be here together. So thank you for everything. I appreciate it. This broadcast has been sponsored by InDigital, a leader next gen core services. Thank you to patrons of the podcast, as well as on Facebook, Circle, just all of it. Those who send stars, everything. Thank you so much for all of it. Excuse me. If you have any comments, questions, or you ever want to be a guest on the flagship show, you can email us, and that's going to be wttpodcast@gmail.com. You can follow us on social media, and you can become a supporter of the podcast as well. Excuse me. You can do all of that by simply going to links.co/WTT podcast. And that's links with 2 i's.co/WTT podcast. And you will find everything there. James Lockerbie, my friend, I will see you in Orlando as well. I'll see you there, bro. And I'll be bringing my championship belt. So we got to make sure to get a picture with you with the belt. Yeah, dude. So you'll find everything at that link, and you'll find my email, all my social media, where to support the podcast, where to listen to the latest episode, also where you can pick up merch, whether it be podcast or dispatching merch. And several of you have ordered shirts, and you also ordered either like a sticker, a patch, or a pin, a lapel pin. And I just want you to know, because I reached out to a few people already, but I think there was 1 or 2 people who ended up getting their order before I could reach out to them. A lot of those t-shirts that are multicolored like this, they come from a third party. So if you get, if you get a t-shirt or a mug or whatever, and you get like a sticker or a lapel pin, it's coming from 2 different places. The sticker and lapel pins and everything come from me. So if you got your package and you're like, where the hell's the patch that I ordered? It's coming from me. And now that I'm back from Florida and everything, those are going out tomorrow morning. So look out for that. All of that stuff is coming. And if you want to listen to the flagship show, you can listen 24/7 on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, your favorite podcasting app, and withinthetrenches.net. Have a good one, everyone. And we will see you all in the next one.